In this video today, I'm going to be going over how to fill out the as-is purchase contract. I'm not trying to go over all the details of why you fill it out. We'll do that in other trainings. This video today is just more to like just say, hey, this is how you do a quick fill out of the contract. And I'll get into a few things. I will explain a few things, but it's not a video to learn what every part of the contract really means. We do that at another time, and it's more time consuming. I want to keep this short as possible, short as I possibly can. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let's see. All right. All right, guys. So putting in an offer on this property here, 772 Southeast 3rd Street, Belle Glade. The very first thing you want to do is find the property on the MLS. Then you're going to want to do two things. You're going to want to open up IMAP, and you're going to want to right click, open a new tab. And then you're going to open up Form Simplicity. Form Simplicity is where we're going to do our contract and our addendum. So you want to open that up, open in a new tab as well. All right. Let's go to over in Form Simplicity. Now over here, guys, this is just the property information. Since you clicked on Form Simplicity from the listing, all of this information is going to automatically populate. Okay. Down here, you could put seller information. You could put the purchase price. You could put the buyer's information. You can do this all here, and it'll automatically populate to the contract. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to just do it on the contract. That's the way I've always done it, and I prefer to do it that way. So when we get to the contract, we'll put in all those things. So we're going to click right here, Save to a Transaction. And we're going to fill out this information here. So street address. Okay, we're going to put just the street address. We don't need to put the city, zip code, any of that. Transaction name, we're going to check this box that says same as address. Property type, in this case, it's a residential property. And transaction type, in this case, it's a purchase. All right, and then we're going to click Save to a new transaction. Up here where it says select transaction, that would be if we're trying to add this to another transaction, but this is a brand new transaction. Every time you do an offer on a new property, do a new transaction, okay? So save to new transaction. And then we're here. So we created the transaction, we have the address. Now we need to add our documents. So we're going to click on, you could go to add forms package or add it through blank forms, either way. But we could go to add forms package. If you click on residential purchase buyer, it's going to bring a list of documents, which most of them will probably not apply to your transaction. But some of them will. Okay. So the very first document here is the as-is contract. Of course, that applies for any transaction. So let's check that box. We want that document. Condominium rider. Do we need a condominium rider? No. I mean, if we look at this, it's a single family home. So we do not need a condominium rider. So we're not going to check that one. Homeowners association, community disclosure. Do we need that document? Is this in an association? I go back to the MLS. Association fee 0. I don't see anything for maintenance. Type of association, none. So there's no association. So we don't need that addendum. Okay. In this case, the buyer is not financing FHA, so we don't need that. But if you did, then you would choose that. Lead-based paint disclosure. Was this property built prior to 1978? Yes, it was built in 1962. So we're going to need the lead-based paint addendum. So we're going to click here, lead-based paint disclosure. Other than that, no. Is it contingent on buyer's property? None of the other addendums apply. So literally all you need for this offer is the main contract and the lead-based paint disclosure. All right, so I'm going to click add to transaction down here on the right. And now I see that I have 2 documents in my transaction. And again, we're going to focus on the as-is residential contract today. So to basically fill it out, we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to click here. So I clicked on the name and it pops up. So again, we are going to go, this is going to be a quick version, what to fill out. We're not going to go so into details on the meanings of every single thing and what you should put. We'll go into some details, but not too many. All right. So seller's name at the very top, it didn't populate here. So we have to go to IMAP real quick. And if you go to IMAP, it'll tell you the current owner. And over here, you see we have 3 owners. So all you have to do, guys, is highlight it and then copy. You can right click copy or hit Control C on your keyboard. And then you copy paste. So you paste it. All right. Now there's nothing separating here. It's just all these people's names are just all jointly together. So you want to space it out. You want to put Antoine Bush and Robert C. Mitchell and Shirley A. Mitchell. So all 3 are the sellers. In this case, the buyer, let's just put, I'll just go ahead and put myself as the buyer. So let's just say it's Victor Vicens. Okay. Down here, we have the address populated, location, Palm Beach. All of this information populated because we clicked on Form Simplicity through the MLS. So it already populated. But if for whatever reason you didn't have this information, you just have to go to IMAP. And here you can get the property ID. Here you can get the full legal address. Here you can get the legal description. All those details, you can get them from IMAP. Okay. Let's go back to the contract. Over here, you're always going to put here if washer and dryer are included. So I'm going to look back on the MLS. And yes, dryer and washer are included under the equipment section on the MLS. So you always want to put washer and dryer. Those are pretty much the only appliances that you're constantly going to put here. The contract already says that all these items here are included in the sale. So refrigerator, the range, the oven, dishwasher, ceiling fans, all these things are already included. The one common one that's just is not mentioned is washer and dryer. So if washer and dryer is on the MLS as an included appliances, as an included appliance, you want to make sure you write in washer and dryer. Otherwise, it's not included. It has to be on the contract. Okay. Next, our purchase price. So in this case, we're gonna go ahead and put a purchase price. What's the price here? $375. So let's just say we're gonna put in an offer at $350,000. Okay, which right now in today's market, it's probably not a smart thing to do because we want to go in at full asking. But in this case, let's just say this property is really overpriced and it's not worth anywhere near that. So we're gonna go ahead at $350,000. All right. Initial deposit to be put in escrow is going to be $5,000. So I'm going to put here 5,000. Okay. And from here, that's pretty much the money that's going to be held in escrow for the deposit. Just making a quick video because my video got deleted. So my video for contracts got deleted.
Are you live?
No, recording.
So you're going to be able to edit?
Yeah.
Got the listing?
You got the listing?
Yeah.
Congrats, bro. So was it a 3-2?
It's a 2-1. It's a 3-2, but the other part is an efficiency. So it's really a 2-1 with an efficiency.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's still.
The other efficiency has its own entrance, its own bathroom. It just doesn't have a kitchen.
All right.
It's just a room and a bathroom.
Nice. All right. Congrats.
Yeah.
You got this. You got this.
We got it. We're gonna set up the photography on Wednesday, and then we'll probably start marketing it right after that.
All right. Cool. All right. All right, guys. After you put the $5,000 deposit, you're gonna go here to line 29 of the contract. By the way, sometimes you might see me refer to the contract as a certain line. So if you notice here on the left, there's a bunch of numbers. So that's referring to the lines of the contract. So so over here in line 29 of the contract, you're always gonna check this box and this is basically saying that the escrow deposit of $5,000 is to be made within 3 days. Okay. The escrow agent, you're going to put whoever your escrow agent is. This example, let's just go ahead and use Sun Life, and you would go ahead and just put in their information. And then fax, you could put in the fax if you have it, guys. If you don't have the fax, don't try to take up too much time trying to find the fax number. But definitely at least have the phone number, email address, and the physical address of the title company that's holding the escrow. Okay. Next, you're gonna want to put, if you are gonna do an additional deposit, this is where you put it. I don't always do that, but if you are, you would put it here. You would put that there's gonna be in addition to the 5,000, there's gonna be an additional, say, 10,000, and that's gonna be deposited within, if left blank, 10 days. In this case, I'm not gonna do that. I really don't always recommend necessarily doing that. Only with certain offers, I would do that. So anyways, financing, in this case, let's just say the buyer's putting 10% down. So financing is going to be 90%. All right. And then we're pretty much done with this section. So just to summarize, what we're saying here is that the purchase price is $350,000. We are financing 90%. Okay. So then we still got to come up with the other 10%. So then the 10% is basically the 5,000 and the 30,000. The 30,000 is the balance. It's what the buyer still has to bring to the closing table. Okay. So $350,000 purchase price. We're putting 5,000 in escrow, which the buyer will get back. The bank's gonna front 90%, and then 30,000 is what's remaining that the buyer still has to bring to the closing table. Okay. All right. Moving on to number 3, time for acceptance, guys. So here you typically want to put about 2 to 3 days. Right now, today's May 21st as I'm doing this video. So I would probably put by Monday, because since it's already kind of late in the evening, I would put by Monday that I would want a response on this contract. So basically, this is just time for acceptance. And for whatever reason, the time expires and buyer and seller still want to get this deal done, you can. But it's just basically saying that, hey, any counter offers need to be done within this time period. Okay. And the offer needs to be fully signed and accepted in this time period. But if it expires, it's okay. Closing date. So a closing date, typically you want to give yourself at least 30 days. So right now, May 21st. So let's look at June. I would probably put, let's say it takes them 2 days to respond to the offer. So maybe May 23rd, they might respond. So I would put June 23rd. Give yourself, I would say, between 30, 35 days. If you're working with a competent lender, they should be able to make that happen. So give yourself about 30 to 35 days. On closing date, the biggest thing, I try to avoid Fridays for closing. Fridays are typically not good days. I usually try to do closings like Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So just try to avoid a Friday. So if like your 30-day mark is on a Friday, it might be better to push it till Monday or maybe even Tuesday. Okay. All right, guys. So that was the first page of the contract, which is pretty much the page with the most information. The rest of this is just going to be telling you what pretty much your 99% of the time you're going to fill out. So on line 78 here, you're always going to put that you may not assign this contract. Okay. Typically, that's how you fill out almost all financing offers, unless you plan to assign the contract. But most people who are buying a home as as just a regular, first time home buyer, it's non-assignable. Whenever you're going to assign the contract, it's usually more for investment deals and things like that. On financing here on paragraph 8, you have 2 main options. Okay. A and B. If your client is buying cash, you check option A and you move forward to the next step. Okay. If they're financing, like most of the times your offers will be, you're going to check box B. Okay. You're going to check the type of financing that they are to get. So, which in this case is conventional. All right. You're going to put here on line 87 that they will get the loan. If left blank within 30 days, you typically want to put 30 days. Right now, the market is very competitive. So you're seeing this number go down a lot. So basically what you're saying here is that this contract is contingent on the buyer obtaining a loan approval within 30 days. And if they don't get the loan approval within 30 days, the buyer can pretty much cancel the contract, get his deposit back. So that period of time being 30 days is very beneficial for the buyer, but not so good for the seller. So since the market is very competitive right now, you're seeing this drop to 25 days, 21. Sometimes you see it even lower. In this case, let's just put it 25. Okay. And then you're going to check here, it says check one. You're going to put either fixed, adjustable, or fixed of adjustable rate loan. What type of loan are they getting? And 99% of the time, it's going to be fixed. Okay. They're applying for a fixed conventional loan. And then you're going to put here for a term of 30 years. Okay. There's another blank here, which I don't typically put anything in, but it's basically the interest rate that they're getting. If you leave it blank, the contract says that if left blank, the prevailing rate based on buyer's creditworthiness. So that's typically what I do. I leave it blank. That leaves, because if you put an interest rate there specific, if for whatever reason the buyer is not able to get that rate, the buyer can back out of the contract. So you don't necessarily want that. So it's only good to put if you foresee a situation where you might want to get out of the contract. Okay. Line 91, you're gonna see a default here if left blank, and it says if left blank 5. So we're just gonna put 5. So there's gonna be some of these things on the contract, guys, that it's just there's a lot of defaults, meaning it'll say if left blank 5, if left blank 15, if left blank 20. So some of those we're just gonna leave them with the default. I don't recommend leaving them blank. Let's just fill them out. But you don't want to leave them blank. So in this case, this one just says that the buyer has to make his loan mortgage application within 5 days. That's all it says. All right. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Here on line 145, you typically want to fill in this blank. Again, if left blank 15. Again, not going to jump into that. I'm trying to make this video a short one to just kind of let you know what you need to do to fill it out. But this just has to do with the title insurance, that they have to get a title commitment within 15 days and all that stuff that you don't have to worry about is the title companies. Over here, you have to pick if either the seller or the buyer is going to designate the closing agent, or the third option, which is a Miami-Dade Broward regional provision, which only we in South Florida get. So the option you want to check out of these three, where it says check one, it's going to be the third option, the Miami-Dade Broward regional provision. To say it quickly, basically that option allows your buyer to still choose the title company, and it's going to save them a little bit of money. The seller would be in charge of paying the lien surge, I believe also the title surge as well. So it will save your client a little bit of money, and still gives them the right to go ahead and pick the title company. Over here on line 168, you're going to have another one of those default blanks. So we're just going to put the default $200. If left blank, $200. All it's saying here is that seller shall not be obligated to pay more than $200 for a title search, ordered by the closing agent. So guys, read through some of these blanks. They're not super complicated. Again, not going to go into it in this video to explain all of them, but it's just simple. It's just, if seller shall not be obligated to pay more than $200 for a title search, which is typically title searches are $140, $130, $150. They're not typically get that high. Line 173, you're going to check this box. The home warranty is not applicable. 99% of the time, there's no home warranty. Special assessments, guys. Special assessments, if you know that there is special assessments, talk to the other agent about it. But what I always recommend is sending the offer like this. Seller shall pay assessment in full prior to time of closing. These types of special assessments, guys, they're very rare. So 99% of the time, you're just not even going to run into them. But just in case, okay, I always send the offer saying seller will pay it. Now, they have to disclose if there is some sort of special assessment. So if for whatever reason they don't disclose it and you check this other box, it still has to be disclosed. So your buyer would have the right to say, hey, listen, I wasn't, this special assessment wasn't disclosed to me. So you could go that route. even if you feel like they even if you want to put that the buyer will pay any installments due after closing. But again, I always try to go with the route, send the offer like this. 99% of the time, the seller signs it because there is no special assessment and there's nothing upcoming, so they just don't worry about it. Okay. All right, guys, moving on. Line 210, there's another little default here, left blank 20. It has to do with flood insurance. Won't get into it. Here's your property inspection period, line 249. I'm going to put 5 days for that, which is what's very commonly right now in the market. It's about 5 days. You can put more. You can try to go for 7. But typically, right now you're seeing about 5 days. That's what most people are putting. And that's for your inspection period, which remember that means that you have 5 days to back out of the contract for any reason whatsoever, inspection related or non-inspection related. The buyer, it's just an opt-out period that the buyer can back out. Okay. All right, guys. After that, we're almost wrapping it up here. The rest of these is a lot of clauses, no information that you need to fill out until you get to page 11. So once we're in page 11, 2 things up here. Remember, we just went at the beginning of this video, we went through a bunch of addendums. So we need to check the ones that applied. And if you remember, the only one that we decided that would apply is the lead paint disclosure. So I'm going to check this box. And that's basically saying that, hey, along with this as is contract, this addendum is also going to be attached to it. Okay. For additional terms, if you click on additional terms, and you go up here to this top, where it says appraisal clause, you can actually put this clear title clause, which I like to use a lot. So you click on clear title clause, you click insert clause, and then automatically just going to put this verbiage on here, which says seller agrees to sell property to buyer free and clear of any liens, code violations, open/expired permits, and or any other encumbrances to title. Okay. So basically what that's saying, which by the way, all of this stuff is already in the contract, but it's just being super clear, non-ambiguous, that if there's any liens, if there's any code violations, if there's any open expired permits, seller has to sell the property free and clear of those things. So seller essentially has to fix them, or the buyer can cancel the deal because the seller is breaching the contract by not fixing them. Okay. Finally, guys, down here, you would put your information. So over here, my name, Element Real Estate. It's very common that realtors will go to the MLS, see how much the commission in this case is 3%, and they'll put like a little 3% here, next to our company. It used to be, I used to put 3% also next to the other company. But then there's a lot of times where the commission that they're offering is not necessarily the same exact commission. So, so I always just put 3% next to our brokerage name. Okay. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much how you go really quickly filling it out. 99% of the time, again, guys, you guys are going to fill out the contract very identical to what I just went over. It's going to look very similar. The only thing that's going to change, your numbers will change, the buyer and seller will change, the address will change, but all these default boxes that I told you to fill out, they'll almost always stay the same. Okay. Make sure your client, when you send it for e-signature, that they initial at the bottom of every page, and that on the last page, on page 12, they sign and date. Okay. So guys, I hope you got, again, this was just a quick version of how to fill out the contract. There will be a video on how to, on more details, and it'll be a much longer video on how to, on all the details of the contract and the clauses and why we put what we put, and what everything means. But again, I just like to do this little short one to let you know when you're in a crunch, I gotta put an offer ASAP. What do I gotta do? Go read this video, and you'll be able to watch this video, and you'll be able to go ahead and put the numbers in. All right, guys, take care.